Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the highly anticipated sequel to the Oscar-winning Into the Spider-Verse, releases this weekend, and I could not be more excited. The trailers have showed us dozens upon dozens of Spider-Man variants and related characters, and one of the more prominent ones in the trailers has been Spider-Man 2099, who's being voiced by Poe Dameron, Marvel's Moon Knight, the Duke Leto Atreides himself, Oscar Isaac. But who exactly is Spider Man 2099? Spider Man 2099 was created by Peter David and Rick Leonardi in 1992 as part of a larger lineup of Marvel characters reimagined in a more futuristic and edgy way. The idea for the 2099 universe was first thought up of by the late great Stan Lee, and Marvel editor at the time Joey Cavalieri was entrusted to oversee the launch of this new series. It was sort of a reflection of the comic book industry in the 90s. Futuristic and edgy characters were all of the rage back then. The 90s gave us characters like Carnage, Deadpool, Cable, Spawn, Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider, Connor Kent's Superboy, and many, many more, including Marvel's 2099 lineup, which was headlined by Spider Man 2099 himself. Now, there is actually a bit of a debate surrounding his first appearance in comics. He first appeared in a few Marvel magazines in early to mid 1992 before his first appearance in an actual comic book, which was in Amazing Spider Man number 365, which came out in August of 1992. However, this appearance was technically also a preview, as it is a 5 page excerpt from the story of Spider Man 2099 number 1, which came out later in that year, November of 1992. So, the story in Amazing Spider Man 365, again, that is a 5 page preview of the story in Spider Man 2099 number 1. So, there's a little bit of debate regarding what is his actual first appearance, since this is technically a preview of this one, and it's the exact same story that in both of the comics. So I will leave that up to y'all to decide what his actual first appearance really is. As for his actual character, Spider Man 2099's real name is Miguel O'Hara, and he's a character of Irish and Mexican descent who lives in Nueva York, which is the Earth 928 version of New York, and he works for Alchemax, which is a notorious mega corporation in Spider Man lore. If you're familiar with the Spider Man mythos, you know that it is a corporation created by Liz Allen, the widowed wife of Harry Osborn, the son of the Green Goblin himself, Norman Osborn. But in the Earth 928 universe, Alchemax, they are still a notorious mega corporation, but they are essentially dominating life in the United States. And Miguel O'Hara is the head of their genetics program. Now, in 2099, there aren't really any heroes anymore. They refer to the time of heroes in the past, which would have been 1992 at the time of the comic. They refer to that time as the heroic age. However, Miguel is working for Alchemax to create a version of superpowered soldiers for the company because, as you know, in comics, they always want superpowered soldiers to create an army to take over the world. Now, his experiments result in the death of a human, which bothers him so much that he decides to quit working as the head of the genetics program for Alchemax. And while he is giving his resignation, Tyler Stone, the vice president of Alchemax, laces his drink with an experimental drug known as Rapture, which was developed by Alchemax in order to blackmail him into staying with the company because this drug is illegal. Now, unbeknownst to Tyler Stone, Miguel had actually coded his DNA into the Rapture drug during its creation. So, he attempts to use an older form of the Rapture drug to change his genetic code in a way that will make him not addicted to this drug anymore, so he can be free of it. And as it usually goes in comics, when you're trying to alter your genetic code or do some sort of experiment on yourself, things go awry. And when Miguel O'Hara is trying to alter his genetic code, one of his jealous coworkers messes with the machine that he's using, and it messes up the whole process, and an accident happens, as it usually does, and it changes his DNA to mix with human DNA and spider DNA, and thus Spider-Man 2099 is born. Now, in addition to the standard Spidey powers, Spider-Man 2099 also has talon-like appendages. He has venomous fangs. He doesn't have spider sense, but he makes up for that with enhanced vision, hearing, and reflexes. Basically, he can see really far. He can see in the dark as well. He has enhanced hearing. In addition to the fangs that are venomous and the talons, he's basically kind of like a vampire. Spider Man 2099 was actually a fairly popular character in the 90s. His comic routinely sold over 100,000 copies per issue, and Volume 1 ran for 46 issues from 1992 all the way to 1996, and was the most popular of all of Marvel's 2099 character series. Unfortunately, due to some shakeups in Marvel at the time, Joey Cavalieri, who was the editor of all of the Marvel 2099 series, was fired in 1996, and Peter David left soon after that as he was unhappy with the firing of the Marvel editor. So the last two issues of Spider Man 2099 were actually not written by Peter David, who had previously written the 44 issues before that. After that, there was a bi monthly miniseries featuring all of the 2099 characters, which ended the 2099 series. Since then, Spider Man 2099 has made a few appearances in one shots, other characters' titles, and he did actually have a relaunched series in 2014, which ran for 37 issues. But his appearance in Across the Spider Verse is going to be by far his biggest since the 90s. As of the time of this recording, I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard really great things. And by the time you're watching this video, I probably already have seen it. I'm really looking forward to his role in the movie, and I think that this could get him back to the prominence that he had in the 90s. So let me know, have y'all seen the movie yet? If you have, what did you think of Spider Man 2099? Do you think that this is going to start a resurgence in popularity for his character? And if you haven't seen the movie, which Spider Verse character are you most excited for? Make sure that you like the video for more comic book talk. I'm gonna head out to go watch the movie, but I will see y'all another day.